Hello stylists, this is Awesomey, and today I have a quick video prepared for you all about the brand new Eureka that has been added to the game. We finally have a 5-star sexy and a 5-star cool Eureka. I will quickly show you where to find them and do a showcase on all of the new Eureka that has been added. If you are looking for a showcase on all of the previous Eureka that's already been in the game, or don't know too much about Eureka and are looking for a tutorial, I have both of those on my channel, so feel free to check those out. So where is this new Eureka? Well, just like the previous Eureka, you can go ahead to any warp spire and enter the realm challenges. All of the Eureka is found under the realm of Eureka. As you can see, we have 2 new trials that have been added. We have had the Well of Fortune trial and the Dream Warehouse trial previously, but now we also have the Ripple Wine Cellar trial and the Ghost Train trial. These trials will unlock once you've completed the corresponding challenge in the main story. Just like the 2 previous trials, under Easy you can only get 4 and 3-star Eureka. You will not be able to get 5-star Eureka in the easy difficulty. You have to challenge at least normal to be able to get the new 5-star Eureka. And as you can see, the 5-star Eureka are different depending on which trial you take on. So under the Ripple Wine Cellar trial, you'll find the Misty Waves Eurekas, which are the 5-star sexy Eurekas. And under the Ghost Train trial, you will find the Void Hunt Eurekas, which are our new 5-star cool Eurekas. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of the colors that we can get. Let's first take a look at our Eurekas from the Wine Cellar trial. So first we have this Misty Waves Head Eureka, and it's this beautiful kind of splash of water frozen in the moment, and we have these kind of bubbles moving around. Now this is how the default looks like. Once you've upgraded it to level 10, you will get this addition of little swimming fish that kind of swim through the Eureka, as well as a lot more bubbles and this kind of splashing water that's falling down. So here's the default again. Here's the upgraded version, and here it is in yellow, green, pink, and iridescent. And iridescent is just gorgeous. Look at that extra shimmer and sparkle. Here is our Misty Waves hand Eureka. As you can see, it's 2 little fishies on each hand just swimming around with some bubbles and some wavy animation. When you upgrade it, you will get a little extra fish and some little extra sparkle. So there's 3 fish on each hand now. Here it is in yellow, green. The green fish seem to have a pattern. Pink, and iridescent. Next we have the Misty Waves Feet Eureka. As you can see, you have this kind of splash that's frozen right around the foot. And if you stand still for a while, you'll start to have these waves coming out of your feet, and you have a lot of bubbles as well. And then here is the upgraded version. You have a little extra splash, and then from the waves you're going to have some seashells coming out every once in a while. Let's see if we can spot another one. And oh, there was another one right there. There was another seashell over here, so you'll have some seashells. Here's the blue version. Here's yellow, green, pink, and iridescent. Let's take a look at the Dream Waltz Head Eureka. So this is another elegant Eureka, and you know what? I'm not quite sure what it is. It looks kind of like a crown and a jewel in the center with these feathers flying around, and that is the default version. The upgraded version is going to have this extra tail and a lot of extra sparkle. As you can see, it's going to kind of fly around you in this sort of pattern. So that's the pink, and here we have white, red, blue, and iridescent. So that was Dream Waltz. So the hand Eureka for Dream Waltz is a little interesting because it actually rests at your elbows instead of your wrists like all the other hand Eureka we have. And you'll have these 5 kind of feathers with a lot of sparkles right at the elbow. The upgraded version is going to have these extra long feathers added in. And it'll do this little animation where it'll throw even more sparkles around. This one's really pretty. So that's the pink. Here's the white, the red, the blue, and the iridescent. Here we have the Dream Waltz Feet Eureka. It's this kind of light pink sparkle that goes around your leg, and again when you stand still you kind of have the shimmer kind of float out from your feet. You also seem to have some feathers dropping from about thigh height. When you upgrade it, it's going to have a little extra sparkle and a little bit more feathers. There's not too big of a difference between the two. Here's the white, the red, and the blue. Finally, our iridescent. It seems like the sparkle goes all the way up to your knee before it fades out. Now let's look at our 6 new Eureka from the Ghost Trials. So let's take a look at our cool Eureka first. So this is the Void Hunt Eureka. It's pretty epic. It's got this really interesting kind of black hole shape right behind Nikki, and then you have these planets, about 2 planets with some smaller moons orbiting around it, and there's a little bit of lightning in the planets. So this one's really cool to look at. Now the upgraded version is going to look pretty similar, but there's actually 3 planets now instead of 2, and there's a lot more lightning going on. So that is the head Eureka in purple. Then we also have green. All of them have 3 planets, but they get stuck behind Nikki for a second. Here's red, blue. The blue's very pretty. And iridescent, which is actually this nice kind of pinkish purple. Now let's take a look at the hand Eureka for Void Hunt. It's these 2 lightning bats that kind of fly really fast and then disappear, and then they come back. And then here you have a little bit of lightning right around the hands. So there they are, they've come back, but they disappear right away real quickly, and then you'll just have, it's mostly the lightning around the hands. So for the upgraded version, I think it's pretty similar. It just seems a bit more lightning-y. You have a little bit more lightning on the hands. The bats will disappear and come back like they do with the default, but I think they're just a little bit more sparky. So that was the purple. Here is the green, red, blue, and iridescent. Now I think the foot Eureka for Void Hunt is super cute. You have these little bat wings right at your ankles, and then you have some lightning and some sparks floating around there too. The upgraded version is not that different, just a bit more lightning, a bit more spark. Here it is in purple, green, red, blue, and iridescent. Finally, let's take a look at Moonlit Ode, which is another fresh Eureka. To me, this feels like a mix between the Dream Waltz and the Void Hunt, because we have these little feathery details as well as this kind of moon in the background, so it's a little spacey and a little feathery. So as you can see, every once in a while it'll shoot out some feathers, and the moon phase will kind of change behind you, which I think is super cool. So here is the default version. The upgraded version is not that different. It's got a little bit more sparkle, and I think the kind of boom when the moon phase changes and it becomes a full moon is going to be a little brighter. So let's wait for that. There we go. So that is our Moonlit Ode in white. It's got a little extra shimmer here as well. Here it is in yellow, red, purple, and iridescent. The iridescent does have this a little bit more feathery and shimmery stuff going on right there. Now let's take a look at the Moonlit Ode hand Eureka. is kind of these little branches with feathers on them kind of wrapping around your wrists. Here is the default. The upgraded version has a bit more shimmer and sparkle to it. There it is in white. We have yellow, red, purple. This is a very nice purple. And iridescent. Finally, let's take a look at the feet Eureka. As you can see, it's a little hard to spot, but we have two little fluffy clouds with some feathers flying around them right next to our calves. You'll also get this little spark fly around and kind of loop around Nikki. That'll show up every once in a while. This is the default, and the upgraded version is just a little different. You get a bit more pronounced feathers that float around you. They have this cute little shine around them. And then you still have that spark loop around. So there it is in white. Here it is in yellow. Very subtle. Kind of hard to spot. Here it is in red, purple, and iridescent. Unfortunately, I don't have the fully upgraded version of each Eureka in each color because that would cost a lot of blings and take a lot of time. But I do have the default version of each one, so I'd love to show you how they kind of look like while you are out and running around when it's equipped. So here is Nikki with all the default versions of the Misty Wave Eureka equipped. As you can see, it's kind of flowing around, the fish are swimming, but as soon as I start running, the fish will turn into these bubbles with a sea star and a seashell in it, and as soon as I stop moving, it'll pop, and the fish around my hands will come back. Also, when you stop on a flat surface, it doesn't really work well on hills, but when you stop on a flat surface, then you will have the waves around your feet appear. So you have that little waves with all the bubbles right at your feet. Next, here is Nikki with all the default versions of the Dream Waltz Eureka equipped. Once she starts running around, she has a lot of pink shimmer trailing behind her, as well as a couple of feathers. When she stops moving on a flat surface, you will see a cute little pink shimmer at her feet appear. Here we have Nikki with the default versions of the Void Hunt Eureka. So there's actually quite a few differences between when she's standing still and when she's running. So in her head Eureka, the planets will actually get sucked into the black hole on the back of her head, and they'll come back out once she stops. So they'll go in when she starts running and come back out once she stops. At her hand Eureka, the bats will usually disappear when she's standing still. They'll disappear and then they'll come back, and they'll disappear and they'll come back. But while she's running, they will be visible the entire duration that she is moving. So they will not be disappearing until she stops. And then they will disappear again, and they will come back after a little while, or they will come back as soon as you start running. At her feet, the bat wings will disappear and just turn into electricity while she runs, and when she stops, it will turn back into wings. And finally, here we have Nikki with the default versions of the Moonlit Ode Eureka. So there's not many differences going around here. The clouds at her feet will disappear when she starts running and reappear when she stops. When she's running, there's a little sparkle and shimmer that's floating off behind her, but otherwise there's not many changes going on. For her head Eureka, whether or not she is running or standing still, it will continue going through the moon phases, and when it becomes a full moon, it will release like a burst of feathers as well as a little sparkle that will float around her and then disappear once it has exited that phase of the moon. So as you can see, whether or not she's running, it'll still go through the moon phases normally. It's about to be a full moon. So let's see from the front, that burst of feathers and that little sparkle that flows up the torso. And that'll happen every time it becomes a full moon. And that was all of the brand new Eureka that has been added to the game. What do you think? Do you have a favorite? Which one are you going to try to get first? If you have any more questions about Eureka, check out my previous videos all about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.